Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to Alchemizing Your Awareness in Asana. Today, there was another video uploaded inside of the playlist speaking about bandhas and defining what bandhas are. So be sure that you check out that video. And today, as we have this practice for the three bandhas, I'll do just a little quick reminder here that the meaning of the word bandha is gate or seal or lock. And really, it's this idea of when we practice a bandha practice, we are catching hold of the energy. And as we are catching hold of this energy, we want to be in this place where we are in essence holding prana. And this is really what I want to use this video to talk about. So the other video, I define the bandhas, give you an example of all three of them, which are root, belly, and throat. And we're going to do a practice of those together today, right here in this video. But it's this idea of bringing that energy with physical, emotional, and mental. Remember, I've talked about this, right, this week so far. We want to bring all of those aspects together. So we're bringing all of that energy in, and then we're holding it or containing it so that it can purify and by proxy elevate. Right? And so when I say elevate, I literally mean that root lock. When we practice, it's about drawing energy upward. When we practice Udyana, the belly lock, it's about furthering the energy upward. When we practice throat lock, it's about bringing all of that energy, which is also referred to as Kundalini energy. We want to bring that upward so that it all is right here in this place to facilitate that connection with source. All of that through Sushumna Nadi. So Nadi is a Sanskrit word for energy channel, and these are considered like energy currents or little rivers in our etheric body. So not the physical body, not the breath body, but the overall energy body. So the breath body is a direct conduit to that physical and energy body, right? It's a wonderful gateway. And we actually will have a day where we talk just about the breath here and have, of course, a breath practice. So as I'm looking at my notes to just kind of stay on track, the breath can be retained when the lungs are full or empty. So if you've ever taken a breath in and then held at the top, that is a retention, right? Or a breath out and held at the bottom. When we hold that breath, we're either holding a state of fullness with the bandhas or holding a state of emptiness with the bandhas, right? And this retention at the top or the bottom, the Sanskrit word for that is kumbhaka. And really what we're doing is we're holding energy at the bottom of the spine and the top of the spine, right? So base of the spine is where Mulabanda is, top of the spine is where Jalandara is, and then the midpoint is Udyana. And if you really look at where these are in the body, these are places where there are orifices in the body, right? So root lock is near everything that's in the anus and vagina, penis, that whole area, all of the sex organs, right? So there's this place where energy could go out and downward. So we want to use all of the muscles inside that space of the hip system to lift that energy upward, to contain it so that it isn't lost. So this is what's meant by apana. Apana is downward moving energy. So when we activate Mulabanda, we're containing prana, which is life force energy, which is upward moving energy. And again, I'm simplifying this because we could go into some deeper philosophical conversations, but I feel like this is really giving you some great information on how to alchemize your awareness around these particular aspects inside of your practice. A lot of teachers don't like talking about Mulabanda because they don't want to say things like I just said, right, where it's your anus, your sex organ. Some teachers will say, stop the flow of urine. Some people will say, lift everything in and up like you're holding But all of these things, if they're not cued properly, lead to a lot of tension in the glutes and the hip system, which naturally leads to tension in the neck and jaw. If you pull Mulabanda too tight, you can actually cause neck and jaw problems. So we want to be really mindful of the amount of effort. And I talked about this in the first video, but if you really think about 50% energetic effort, right? So there's not this, here's Jalandara Bunda. There isn't this clenching, right? But instead, we just want to think about plugging the chin in and lengthening the back. And you can see already Jalandara Bunda is engaged. A lot of teachers will teach only Udyana Bunda, drawing the navel back. And if you draw the navel back, you'll feel the pelvic floor lift as well as Jalandara Bunda engage. So these three places are really important when it comes to containing prana to move up and down that central channel of the spine, which is Sushumna Nadi, or sometimes just referred to as the central channel. The left channel is Ida, the right channel is Pingala, or these are the solar and lunar currents, or masculine and feminine currents. And if we focus on energy moving through that main channel of Sushumna Nadi, what happens is we move energy through the whole body. Just really focusing on the subtlety of the bandhas over the next few days, weeks, months, maybe even years. I know for myself, for subtlety, it's definitely taken years. It's really about stimulating this internal cellular awareness when we're using these bandhas. So today I want to walk you through a bandha practice for each location in the body. So if you're seated or in a reclined position, all of that is fine. You just want to make sure that you're in a space where you can either be upright or fully reclined, not any rounding in the spine. As you can see, I'm just seated here in an easy cross-legged seat, and I'm just sitting on a little sheepskin rug, and I've got my legs in Sadasana or sage pose, and that is what I would suggest for you. Left heel in first, right heel comes in front so that you've got your ankles, and I'll give you a little visual of what that looks like so. And then, of course, you could do this in lotus. You could do this in Sukhasana, any other seat that works for you. This is just traditionally one of the things that we would do besides lotus. And if you're reclined because of back things, no worries. Just make sure you support the back of the hamstrings, back of the legs, so that you have total ease of curvature in that low back. Fancy way of saying that is subluxing the low back, but we really want you to just be relaxed so that we can focus intentionally on these energy centers. So we're going to start with root lock. And right now, if possible, you'll just close your eyes. You'll have palms up or down, whatever feels most easy for your shoulders. And as you close your eyes, just bring your attention to the base of your body, what you literally feel in contact with the floor, or if you're in a reclined position, it would be bring your awareness to everything inside the hip system between the femur bones. If you're seated, you can think about the sit bones on the earth. Full breath in, breath out. And just imagine that you are trying to draw the sit bones together inside the body. So you're not squeezing the glutes because this will tuck the pelvis a little bit. But instead, I want you to think about drawing that energy up, like a vacuum of energy upward toward the crown of the head or toward the navel, if that's easier to imagine. And when you need to breathe, you just breathe and release. So what we're going to do is 5 cycles of, as you inhale, lift those pelvic floor muscles up, or imagine that you're drawing that energy inside the pelvis up. And as you exhale, simply relax it. Inhaling, lifting pelvic floor muscles. Imagine that you're squeezing all of the muscles up. As you exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. One more time, inhale. Imagine that you're drawing all that muscle tissue up. And as you exhale, release. So this is Mulabanda, and Mulabanda is really all of the muscles inside. So the hip system, if you imagine that my hands are like a hips, and where you see the V of my thumbs would be the space of the sacrum, all of the muscle tissue that's inside of here lifts up. And what this does is it stabilizes that SI joint. But what it also does is it doesn't allow energy to drop down through the legs and out. Because what happens when you lift energy up is energy naturally goes down. So if you're standing in mountain pose and you think about lifting Mulabanda, what you'll notice is the big toe mounds sink a little bit deeper into the earth. And this becomes really powerful when it comes to all of those standing poses. All right, so the next one is Udyana Bunda. And Udyana Bunda means this belly lock, right? So a lot of times I'll have students, especially new students, I'll have them bring their hands right above. So find your belly button and just go a couple inches above that space. And then from here, other hand just resting down or palm up, just depends on what's most comfortable for you. And draw the navel in at the exhale. So big breath in. As you exhale, draw the navel in and just keep your hand here so you can feel how it goes up and back, right? So it's not only going back, but you'll feel the abdominal wall move back and slightly contract up. And this is lifting all of that energy of Mulabanda up toward the thorax space, as I mentioned in the other video, or the thoracic space, if you like that language better, right? So let's do 5 cycles of this, right? So close the eyes. Beautiful. Deep breath in. Breath out. Option to keep the hand there just so you can feel the action. Once all the breath is out, draw the navel back. And release. So let's do this 4 more times. Deep breath in. Breath out. Draw the navel back. Release. As you take this breath in and this breath out, draw the navel back and notice what you feel happening behind the heart in the thoracic spine. Do you feel how there's this vertical movement that's happening with the energy? You're literally moving energy up the spine. Release the breath. 2 more times like this. And release once more. Inhaling as you exhale all the breath out. Draw the navel in. And release. Beautiful. We'll do the other Bandha, and then I'll talk about how to bring it all together for Maha Band, or the Great Seal, which isn't used a lot in yoga classes unless it's a Kundalini class or we're doing a Bandha specific practice. So with Jalandara Bunda, you saw me activate that before. It's this throat lock space, or this coming together of the throat. So the throat chakra resides in the etheric body here, right? So we're thinking up and back, but we really want to contain this space right here. And if you're working this too hard, you'll see a lot of tension in the neck, like so. And that's what we don't want, because it actually closes the spinal column. You have to remember the intention of this is to contain energy in a nice open spinal column so that that energy can flow up through the spine itself. So with Jalandara Bunda, if you think about, and I'll turn to the side here so that you can really see this. If you think about taking a breath in, and as you exhale, simply drawing the chin back and slightly down, you can see how that got really active there. So nothing happening. And then watch what happens when I simply exhale, draw the chin back and slightly down. You can see there's a nice sense of action there, right? versus nothing. You can really see that lift, but most importantly, I want you to feel this bandha. So again, 5 breaths each time on the exhale. Once you get your head into position, see if you can just recreate it with the internal muscle structure. Okay, let's give it a try. Closing the eyes if you'd like. Breath in. As you exhale, chin draws in, slightly down. And you can really feel, you can even use your hand if this helps you. And release. And let's do it again. You want to feel the muscles in the back of the throat. They're slightly contracting, and this is creating space along the cervical spine. Inhaling as you exhale. You hear this little sound as you exhale. That is Ujjayi breath, which is created naturally from Jalandara Bunda. So we don't want to press really hard here, but instead we want to have awareness there. So it's that slight tension at the base of the neck, back of the throat. 2 more times. Beautiful. And now release. So now let's talk about the other aspect of bringing all of these things together, which is often referred to as Maha Band or the Great Seal. And with that lock, you'll actually see people drop their chin and draw it in and up because you're really containing the energy. So in this, you'll breathe in, breath out. Draw the chin in, drop it down, navel in, pelvic floor. And release. If you're paying attention, you may actually start to feel that right here across the forehead. You might actually feel it along either side, because if you look at old tantric images of the bandhas and of Ida and Pingala, what you'll notice is that Ida and Pingala crisscross here, and then you'll see this set of wings. It looks like a caduceus, if you're familiar with that, and then the wings. So you'll see that. And what we're doing as we contain that energy of prana with this Maha Band, or as we've been doing the Bandha already, we've built energy. As we contain it, that energy naturally goes up and expands. So let's give it a try. Maha Band, 5 cycles total. So what we'll do is breathe in, out, Maha Band, natural breath cycle. So this will take usually takes about 2 to 3 minutes. All right, palms down or up, depending on what feels best for you. Again, if you're in a reclined position, remember, try not to push the head into the floor. You really want this to be an inside contraction. All right, let's begin again. Deep breath in. Breath out. Chin in and down, navel in and up, pelvic floor lifts. Just observe. And release. Breath cycle in and out. And again, breath in, breath out, chin in, navel in, pelvic floor up. Release. Beautiful. Release pelvic, navel, then throat. So the same way you go into it, we would just reverse the order. All right, again. Breath out. Draw the chin in, navel in, pelvic floor. Hold. Release. Full breath cycle in between. 2 more rounds. You're doing great. Breath in. Breath out, chin draws in, navel draws in, pelvic floor lifts, hold. And release. Natural breath cycle. And final round. Breath in and out. Chin in and down. Belly in and up. Pelvic floor up. Eyes closed. Beautiful. And release. Natural breath in and out. What you may notice if you practice the individual bandhas, just like we've done today, you do 5 breaths per each bandha. You can start root and go to the throat, or throat and down. Throat and down is pretty traditional. So do what works best for you, of course. I always suggest that it's your practice, right? So honor your practice. But if you can start practicing from this place of containing the energy from here, you'll feel this deeper sense of connection between all 3 locks. So the purpose of this is when we have this energy contained inside the body, close to the spine, the outward expression of the yoga postures changes dynamically. And it changes dynamically through energy, not physical force. So this is you tapping into power, not force. And that's really massively potent when it comes to understanding some of those really huge postures, like dropping into back bends or pressing up into a back bend. Camel pose is a really big pose for a lot of bodies. Warrior 3 is a really big pose for a lot of bodies. And when you understand how to build energy in the body, by the time you get to using the body in those big postures, right? When body, mind, and breath come together with these bandhas, what happens is you have this golden awareness shift, right? The shift of consciousness. So we alchemize that base consciousness of the physical and we shift it into energetic awareness. So just here in those 5 breaths, I was feeling this undulation of energy up Sushumna Nadi. And that's really what I want for you to feel, is this pulsation of energy that flows up and down the spine, just like so. Because what happens is as you tap into this field of energy in the center channel of your spine, everything in the body becomes more supple. More suppleness in the body means flexibility in stability, right? Remember I said that ability is contained within the concept and structure of stability. Energetic stability will transform everything. So I really hope that this is resonating with you. And thank you again for being here. I'm loving this series and I hope that you're enjoying it as much as I am. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about Chaturanga Dandasana. As always, you'll have a little bit of a video explanation before that'll be dropped inside of the playlist. And then I'll see you back here live at 4 p.m. And in the meantime, I'm loving your questions. I'm loving your comments and I'm loving your private messages. So keep those coming and I'll see you back here. All right. Stay illuminated, everybody. And thanks for watching. Bye.